welcome to our second Vessel Forge live event of the year. So today I'm super excited to have two amazing guests with us. But before to introduce them, we have our amazing community manager, Penny. How are you doing?
Hey guys, I've gotten the pleasure of seeing so many familiar names here. I've already kind of chatted with some of you off to the side, but I'd love to get to know more of you. Yeah, I'm just here hanging out in the server. I'm just making sure things are running smoothly. If you guys are posting, I'm gonna make sure you guys get seen, that your questions get answered. I just really want to support you guys. I know that everyone's joining the server for probably like the overarching reason is just to like gain knowledge, hang out with cool, amazing artists that are just like you. Learn from one another. So I totally get that. I want you guys to feel empowered to reach out for help in our server. I want you guys to feel comfortable here. We were even chatting about having a movie night coming up soon. So, like I want you guys to feel at home here. This is a really cool space to just kind of learn from one another and get to obviously interact with these amazing people that are here, very tenured and experienced artists that we all love and follow. So, yeah, just engage, interact, post. I'd love to get to know some of you guys even more. But yeah, I'm very happy to be here and help host and just kind of answer, make sure I'm seeing all of your questions get answered here. And, ping me on Discord anytime you guys need something. Very, very excited to have you here.
That's great. We're both very excited each time we have a live event. We're like, oh shit, it's coming. It's awesome.
Yes.
But yeah, good to have you here. And so first guest today, people like what is he talking about? We can see them. Ivanna, how are you doing, Ivanna?
I'm good. I'm excited to be here.
Let's go. So Ivanna, for the fun fact, is the first mentor that joined Vessel Forge. Um, So back in the days when I started the project, I was already thinking about mentors that could be, great to have in the team and that are like expert in their field. And she was at the top of my list for
Oh,
environment sculpting. So yeah, I reached out to her. We had a quick call. We already met in the past. You know, um, I think it was a birthday or something, but we never really had the chance to chat for real. And then when I um, presented the project to her and told her about the vision we had for Vessel Forge, she was just like down for it. She was like super excited. So yeah, welcome in the team, Ivana. You've been doing an amazing job mentoring all these artists. Like they're crushing it. Like each time I look at the mirror board with what you guys are doing is pretty sick. So yeah, welcome to the team again. We're super glad to have you.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, it's for those of you who don't know, this is sort of my first experience doing like actual mentorships. So it's a learning experience for me as well. And I'm growing to really enjoy it. So um yeah, it's been a great experience so far. Everyone's been really cool. Everyone's like, you know, actually learning, which is like what I was afraid of. Like, I didn't want to just like yap and like no one really understood what I was talking about. So like, I'm
Yeah,
glad that like my mentees are actually like learning and like making progress. And Eamon's in the chat right now. He's my current mentee, and he's been like totally
I mean,
crushing it already. So um,
nice.
yeah, I guess about me, I worked on God of War Ragnarok for 3 years, shipped that. And then after that, I decided to transition over to Respawn Entertainment and work on the Jedi Star Wars games. So I shipped Star Wars Jedi Survivor, and I'm currently working on the third installment. And so, just chipping away at that. And I went to Nomen before. Um, allegedly, okay, no, this is public. This is public knowledge. You're not getting any secrets from me. that is a public thing that's been happened. So
It's been
anyway,
confirmed.
I went to Noman, and I spent about a year there, until I got my first job through my professor, um, on God of War Ragnarok. And then I actually dropped out of Noman because I got a job. And so I was kind of like, oh, I don't need to do any more student loans, because I actually uh, had previously my I went to an art school for like 2D animation and illustration, and so I already had a degree, and so I was like, I don't need another one if I got a job. So that was the that was the sort of the point of me going to Noman. So yeah, and that's sort of where my career started. And here I am, 7 years in so far, and still going strong.
Nice. That's awesome. I didn't know you've been doing some 2D animation first.
Hmm.
It's great.
Yeah, I actually wanted to be a concept artist for a long time, and then
No
really,
way.
yeah, I really tried that out. I went to art school for 4 years for 2D animation, concept art, and illustration. Um, Graduated, tried to get a job in being a concept art for games and or like TV animation. And man, is that field like tough. Um,
Right? Yeah.
so it's like even harder than getting into video games, just like as a
Yeah.
3D artist. So I had decided to quickly make that switch because it wasn't working. And so I took a complete different direction for my career, and I'm glad I did. Very, very happy.
That's great. That's great. Yeah, it was another time, but I started as a concept artist actually.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
So that's funny. It's you know, it's it sounds familiar.
yeah.
Um yeah, so well, welcome again, Ivana. Thank you for telling us a little more about yourself. It's great. I'm discovering a little bit of your past as well because we didn't get the chance to chat about that yet, but it's great. Welcome again. Our second guest that we have here, and is a good friend of mine. We've been working together for a good 5 years now. We started at Naughty Dog. We met at Naughty Dog. It was previously at Radiant Down, and I was in Montreal previously at WB Games. And yeah, he has been my lighting artist for most of the environment I worked on The Last of Us, and now we're both together working at Lightspeed LA. So we kind of follow each other's. But yeah, welcome to Ted Mebratu. How are you doing, man?
Good man. Yeah, thank you everybody for having me. I guess a little about me. I was born and raised in Ethiopia, where that's where I spent most of my life, and I moved to the United States around. I think this is my 10th year. Yeah, I moved in 2016 just to pursue a career in 3D. Like I didn't really have any specialization or know anything what I wanted to do specifically, but just I just wanted to work in 3D in either films or games. I spent a year in a college out in a small town in Iowa, but I realized there where I felt like the courses they were teaching weren't necessarily aligned with what I wanted to do and the type of work that I was interested in. So I actually dropped out and kind of spent a year in New York in my like uncle's apartment, just grinding away my portfolio, kind of just teaching myself all these like fundamental skills until I eventually got good enough to land a role in the industry. So like the first role I got was in 2019 at Ready at Dawn as a lighting artist, where I worked on some VR titles like Lone Echo 2, Echo VR. After that, moved over to Naughty Dog, where I met John. We worked together there, worked on the Last of Us franchise, a little bit of Intergalactic, some cancel multiplayer stuff we can't talk about. But then, yeah, currently at Lightspeed LA, working as a senior lighting artist. And yeah, that's that kind of sums it up. I'm a big nerd for all things lighting, just even outside of just a screen. I do a lot of street photography, just experiments of all different kinds. But yeah, that's about it for me.
Awesome, man. It's just casually studying at your uncle's place and just becoming one of the best lighting artists in the game currently is just
I was very locked
pretty
in, yeah,
insane.
for a whole year. Yeah.
That's insane, dude. I didn't even realize that you didn't go to legit like school or something to
Yeah,
just
for sure.
by yourself, DIY.
All by myself. Yeah.
Damn, that's awesome. That's awesome. Well, welcome, dude. Like, we're really glad to have you in the team, and to lead our, you know, um, lighting mentorship. Like, that's pretty awesome. We're probably gonna have more lighters joining you, but yeah, dude. Obviously, you were the first one I thought about when I put the team together. Lighting, first one that came to my mind was you. So yeah, really glad to have you, dude. It's awesome.
Yeah, appreciate it, man.
Right on. And yeah, I guess I can, you know, say a little bit about myself. So I'm originally from France, as you guys probably know. I started in the video game industry, yeah, about 20 years ago now. I think it was 2005, six, something like that. So it was an, you know, it was a while ago. First game I worked on was on PS2, and as I mentioned earlier, to Ivanna, I started as a concept artist. Because basically I was just not good at 3D. I was really I was really bad. So and I love drawing. That's why I got into an art school, and I wanted to just be good at it and make a living out of that. I wouldn't say a gift because it was not. It was really like, I was like working on it. I don't feel like I'm the kind of artist that had something right away. I was just like struggling most of my I would say of these years, like studying how to, you know, make cool art. So it's not something that was like, easy for me, but yeah, I ended up like doing some 3D test after I signed my first contract. I was an intern, so working as a concept artist, and I told my boss that what I wanted to do with 3D, I wanted to make environments. Eventually characters, but mostly environments. And they gave me a 3D test to do. I had to reproduce one of the concept I made for them. And I did it. I did some sort of like camera mapping back in the days. It was not really like, game ready type of environment, but it was looking really cool. So they could tell that, okay, like the kid knows what he's doing. And yeah, once my contract ended, they gave me a call back like couple of weeks later to offer me my first contract. So I started with a 6 months contract, and then I got a full-time position, and then I worked on, small games, Nintendo DS, Wii, PSP, PS2, all the old gen consoles. And yeah, so as I said, started 20 years ago, and it brought me in many different countries. So I worked in Netherlands at Guerrilla Games on the first Horizon Zero Dawn. Previously, I was at Quantic Dream for 6 years, where I worked on Heavy Rain and Beyond Two Souls. A little bit of Detroit, and then I bounced to Guerrilla. And then after the Guerrilla Games episode, went back to France. It was also my first experience abroad, so it's like I don't think people realize what it is to move to another country where you have to learn a new language and adapt and learn the culture as you learn how to do your job and as you learn how to communicate with your coworkers. It's like a lot of things, and I know that we have a lot of mentees that are going through that, and this is something that is pretty big to deal with. But once I was back in France, I went back to Ubisoft to work on Ghost Recon Wildlands. I stayed there for a couple of years, then moved to Canada to work on Assassin's Creed Odyssey. Um, And from there, I went to Montreal. So I was in Quebec City, went to Montreal to work on Gotham Knights at WB Games. And from there, I moved to Naughty Dog. And that was my first experience in the US previously. So I moved to France, from France to Canada, stayed in Canada for about almost 5 years. And then I moved to the US, and I've been around for about 6 years now. So yeah, it's just like it's funny to think about and think about it, just reflect on, okay, I started as a concept artist, as an intern, paid $300 a month, and then now I'm in, I used to live in LA, Santa Monica, across the street from the Naughty Dog office, but now I'm in Long Beach. But it's just funny to reflect on, okay, I started from there, and then now I'm here 20 years later. I don't think that I would have believed anybody telling me that I would be there today. So yeah, just the game development brought me all the way across the world, and it's been great so far. I really enjoyed it. And yeah, just a little something about Vessel Forge. I've always loved like sharing my knowledge either through articles, talks. Like I've done a couple GDC presentation. It's always something that I really enjoy is, when you share your knowledge, you also learn about yourself, about your process, kind of like articulate your thought in a different way than just doing it as an artist. And I feel like you learn a lot by doing that. And I always loved doing these basically. And I was like really in the mindset of trying to push that a step further and literally have actual interactions with mentees where I could like do do that for real, not just at work with coworkers, but literally like help out either students or artists already in the industry that just would like to level up. And that was my original vision. I just wanted to help and support other artists because that's something I love to do. And with that vision, I started alone. I was the first mentor teaching environment and material because I've been spending 10 years pretty much doing environment and 10 years specializing in material creation, but both are kind of working together. So now I'm still doing both, even at work. But I would say that vision was really to bring a team around me that could just do the same, have the same passion for sharing. Obviously, I wanted to have like the top expert in the field, in their field, but I also wanted to have like nice people with me. And I think we have a pretty amazing team around us at Vessel Forge. Everyone is, genuinely care about students and their progress and I know that everyone is, going over time or just chatting with them on the side because they want them to succeed and they don't want anyone to stay blocked on something. And, I think the best reward for us is really to see them succeed and grow and learn. And, you know, I feel like each time I go back to another session and I see the progress, um, I'm so hyped. I'm just like, damn, like, dude, yeah, you got it. Like, that's great. That's awesome. You understood what we talked about last time. You applied it. It's looking awesome. And they're growing, they're learning, and we had a bunch of pretty amazing project that came out lately. So our mentees are really, really good. And I'm really really happy to see how everything's growing. And yeah, maybe you guys can also maybe share about your experience. I don't know. I know Ivana, you mentioned that it was the first time you were mentoring. Um, how was your experience so far? How is it going with your mentees? What maybe you learn a couple things as well. I know that it's always kind of like even myself, I was kind of like worried the first time because I'm like, even though I've been doing that my whole career, I'm like, we don't have a structure to teach at Vessel Forge because I don't want that. I want things to be tailored for our mentees. I want them to come up with their goals, what they're aiming for, and then we help them get to that goal. But I don't want to have like it's not a class where everyone is going to learn the same way and I'm going to tell you the same thing. I want things to be valuable for you and for your goals. So um, I don't come up prepared. I just ask people what do you want to focus on? What are your goals? What type of environment do you want to do, et cetera, or materials? And obviously we take a look at their portfolio, all that. But yeah, I'm just curious, Ivana, what is your experience so far?
Yeah, it's definitely interesting. Like you said, you start to sort of learn your own workflow because now you're like explaining it to somebody rather than just doing it. And so like when I first started, and I still feel this way, is like I was getting like really bad imposter syndrome. Like I didn't feel like I knew enough to like teach somebody. And so like I was starting to like really gaslight myself and being like, man, like, do you actually know what you're talking about? Like, do you really think you could like help somebody? And so like, do you know what you're doing? And so I don't know. I was really nervous first starting out, and I still get nervous too. Like when I'm first meeting a mentee, like um, I get worried about like what their goal is. Like, will I be able to like get them there? Because everyone's so different. Not every single mentee I've had so far, like everyone has a different project, everyone has different skill sets. And so like there are times where I'm still kind of like, can I do this? But then when we get like in the groove of things, I'm like, okay, no, like we're both working together on this. Like even if I don't know something, I'll tell them like, hey, I don't know. Let me like look into this a little more for your specific needs. And then also like sometimes they'll like kind of teach me something, and I'm like, oh, hey, that's actually a good idea. Like we should do it that way instead. And so it's like it's very much like a we're working together versus like I'm working like to like teach you, it's like it's more of like it almost feels like a group project. And so that is sort of also how it works like in the industry where it's like, you're learning from everybody else, and like no matter like the experience, you know, people are teaching you things and like you're learning still. So like so far it's been pretty good. And I've been really enjoying it so far. And I'm glad that my mentees are actually, progressing. I think that's the biggest thing where after like the session, I'm like, oh, like they actually got it, and you know, they're improving coming in next week and all of that. And so
Yeah.
it's helped my confidence too.
Right?
Yeah.
Right. Feels good when you're like, oh my God, what am I talking about? And then they come back with like something super sick that they got it, and you're like, oh shit, actually, yeah,
Yeah.
I was able to explain that pretty well finally, I guess.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, totally, I totally get that. And yeah, congrats to Carrie that she was one of your mentees.
Mm,
She also worked with Jared, and I just started working with her for materials, and yeah, she just got a job at Naughty Dog, which is pretty awesome.
Hmm.
So yeah, congrats to her. We also have Jolene that I had as a mentee for material art as well, and she also got hired there. So congrats to her mentees. They're doing, like a kick-ass job. So I'm super happy for them. That's great. How's it going on your end, Ted? Like I know you've had a couple sessions already. I know you
Yeah,
were like, if I may say that, I know you were kind of in the same boat as Ivana, like a little like, tad concerned, even though I know you're amazing and you're good at teaching and you're very patient and when you're explaining to me lighting stuff that I don't know about, I get it, and you're taking the time and you use a vocabulary that is easy to understand even for someone that who don't necessarily know. But I know that you had a little bit of concern before starting. Um, how is it going so far for you?
Yeah, I mean, it's like I think this is like my first time doing like a mentorship where, you know, I'm like doing a one-on-one and kind of just doing a deep dive on my personal process. And through that experience, same as Ivana, I've discovered I actually don't know what my process is because I've never had to like verbalize it and kind of like put it into words that are easy to understand. So I think throughout this whole thing, I felt like I've even developed a better understanding of what I do, and being able to like explain it in a better way. Like I just finished my first mentorship last night actually, and like yeah, it was an incredible experience. I felt like the biggest fear I had initially was like I was so focused on just the final, like getting to that final polished results. But sometimes, due to like scoping, if like at the start of the mentorship we don't assess the time remaining and kind of work based on that time frame, and we're just trying to do the best work possible that kind of gets beyond those like allotted like 4 weeks. And I think the biggest thing I learned, I guess, through that initial process is instead of just focusing on, get to this final image as fast as possible, it's really more so about just imparting, as much knowledge, like technical and just even more broad of just the way you even perceive and approach lighting. Kind of just, there's no one way to light something. It's more so just everybody has their own kind of path to get to the same results. So like the whole idea is just explaining my personal workflow and process and kind of hoping that by the end of it, they can take away a few like key points from what I do to make their personal workflows much better. But it's been a really eye-opening and really great experience so far. Like I'm super excited about all the projects that my mentees have going on. Like it's gonna be awesome to finally get to show those off. So
Yeah, man, that's great. I keep an eye on it on Miro, and yeah, it's really looking cool so far. And yeah, I just to double down on that, it's true that sometimes, so we have two different type of mentorship that we call gold and diamond. One is 4 weeks for smaller projects, and one is the diamond one is 8 weeks, so basically 2 months. And most of the time we try to scope the project with the mentees the best way possible. But very often, like, because we want things to be as polished as possible, mentees needs to carry that project longer than the duration of the mentorship, just because we need to get all the renders done, we need to have videos breakdowns, we need to sometime adjust a couple more things, and sometimes it just goes beyond the mentorship. But obviously it's not like, oh, mentorship is done by, you know most of the time we're going to be in touch with all our mentees, and they're going to reach out to us even after, just to have feedback, and they're going to have extra question and stuff like that. And that's really something that I feel is makes all the difference at Vessel Forge. And it goes back to what I was saying earlier with, our team caring for our mentees, is that, I don't see anybody in the team saying no to hopping on a call or an extra call or chatting with a mentee that is stuck or need advice. Myself, I hop on a call at 1 a.m. with Gavin because he was just putting his art station together last minute to apply to a job, and he was kind of like freaking out. I was like, okay, let's just share your screen. Let's take a look. Maybe you can use this one first, then the video, then this, then that. And then, it went super well. He was very happy. But I think it's something that we would all do naturally because we genuinely just care about, your success. And um, as you said, Ted, so sometimes we try to scope the project as the best we can and, support you the best we can, but sometimes it goes over, and you're just not done, not because it's your fault, but because sometimes you have a job on the side, and then you try to do the best you can with your free time. But it's not, it's an organic thing, so sometimes it takes longer than you thought it would. And we try to adapt and help you as much as we can. But in the end, we're here no matter what. Even if the mentorship is over, you can always reach out to us, obviously. But it's something that I've seen many times, even from our best mentees. They they tend to overscope a little bit, and it tends to be, go beyond the duration of the mentorship. But it's not a big deal, because in my opinion, it doesn't really matter how many times you spend on something, as long as it looks good. um, for material creation, for example, sometimes I spend a ridiculous amount of time on polishing hero texture. What I call hero texture is like, the barrack ceiling, or like this kind of piece that you won't do in production, but it's something fun that you do on your free time to kind of like develop your skills and kind of like showcase what you can really do technically. So these kind of project, I spend month on them. Like and sometimes I'm gonna add like an extra 2 weeks polishing the shit out of everything, and the albedo and the tiny details and stuff. And then you show it to a friend, and you're like, hey, look before after, and he's like, what's the difference? And you're like, no, but you don't see like this little, dust in the corner about it, and this and that. And he's like, dude, it was looking great already. Like, what are you doing? And that's sometimes what you end up doing. And it's okay. You want things to look amazing, and sometimes that's normal to spend more time and really something that you're proud of and that look great in your portfolio. So I don't know if you guys have any thought on that, but I always feel like it doesn't really matter on a personal project the time you spend, even though you're gonna try to, you know, um, give you a deadline. I would say I don't think it's something that you necessarily need to stick to. In production, it's different, but on a personal project, with life and stuff happening, it's kind of hard, right, to stick to a deadline.
I can kind of chime in on this if
Yeah,
you don't mind. I just wanted to touch base with you on that because I see the most success from people, from mentees, from our peers, the ones that are the most inquisitive, right? The ones that want and thirst and ask and aren't hesitating to ask questions. So I think that's why with us, some of you who aren't mentees with us, but we do have a private space just for you guys when you do commit to a mentorship where you just always have a direct line of contact with everybody. And all our mentors are added in that channel. So even if you were, taking an environment art mentorship or a sculpting mentorship, and you were just curious about, learning about lighting, or having a lighting question, like you could throw that in our chat, and like Ted would jump in there and answer it for you. So like there is that level with us where I got to resonate with Jonathan. Like we want to see you grow, like we want to see you succeed. And taking that little bit of time, even if it's just a few extra minutes, just to help you kind of get over the hump there, right, on whatever project it is you're working on, is really important for us to pay attention to. So I just wanted to reinforce that. Like, I completely agree. I think, we don't know to help you unless you ask. And so, really, just engaging, interacting, posting your work. If we don't see it, we don't know what's going on. If you end a mentorship with us and you have a question still, like absolutely, oh my goodness, we'd love to see you just like come back and start asking us again, or staying in touch, giving us your updates. If you're struggling with finding a job, right, like how can we help with that? Look at your work, what you've done, your portfolio, your resume. So I just wanted to kind of nail that in. Like we are here for you as like a go-to support. Even you that are just in the community and you haven't committed to a mentorship yet, like that's why we have these channels for you. I promise you, we're all looking at them, right? So, like, if you were to drop a question in there, 100% somebody's going to see it. And I would make sure that obviously somebody does, just to help, funnel things along. You're never being a bother. You're never, putting anyone out of their way. If we can, just, I don't want to overpromise, right? Like, we can't be around all the time, but we definitely will give you some attention. We'll make sure that you get your questions answered. So, um, but yeah, I just wanted to kind of contribute there a little bit. Our community is pretty great.
Fully, fully. Obviously, we have, some mentors that are more on Discord and some others that are
Mm.
less. So, we're doing our best to have our expert being there and keeping an eye on stuff. Ivana has been amazing at it. I'm doing my best. Um, Ted has been good too, even though lighting. We have a maybe a little less amount of um, lighting
Yeah,
artists in the chat, so it's a lot of environment artists. I feel a bit of character as well, but we're doing our best to keep an eye on everything and support you guys. And it's great. Drop your work in progress as well. It's awesome to see you guys working on your project and see where you started and where it's going and how it grows. And also keep it up with that. We really love like seeing your project coming together. But yeah, totally. It's been great. I last year we were talking with Penny about having this Discord community, and it took a bit of time because you know how it is. Founding a company, there's so much stuff to manage and deal with, and having the website on working and be able to have mentees, etc. And then we always wanted to have this community, and now it's real. It's real. We're over 150 people on Discord, and it keeps growing. So yeah, again, thank you for being with us, for joining our community. It's really great to have you all here. And I think we've lost Ivana,
Oh,
right?
there she is.
I'm back. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
See, I think we lost Jonathan now. Do you guys see Jonathan
Yeah, we
again?
oh
lost John.
no.
Oh,
No, he's still
We got to go
here.
around the
he's just
room.
I'm here.
he's
Yeah,
I'm here.
just
it's frozen.
I don't see Ivana though.
Uh-oh, little
Is it
oh
technical
just
really?
me?
problems. There we go.
Yeah, I don't see her either.
Oh no. Should I leave and come back?
Or Giovanna see her? Damn it.
Can you guys in the
It's
audience
going.
hear us
Oh,
okay?
so is it just us? Huh.
Everyone can hear. Okay, well, that's good.
Oh, she's asking if she should leave and come back.
I think
Maybe?
it'll probably help. Yeah, we could do that.
Let's try.
See a little glitchiness. Sorry, folks. In the meantime,
Sorry, guys.
we did have a few questions. I don't know if we want to open it up to some questions, Jonathan.
Sure. Yeah, let's do it, guys. If you have questions, we have about almost 20 minutes. Let's do it.
Okay, so really quick, I did have one from Thomas that he posted in our live Q&A chat. I wanted to see if you can. Oh, let me get Yvonne on here again. Let's see, invite to speak.
Yeah.
See if we can get her back. Perfect.
Am I
Yes, you're
back?
back.
Hey, welcome
Yay.
back.
Go. Cool.
Okay, so we're gonna open it up to questions, Ivana. I think this one would be pretty good for anyone to dive into, really. But I had a question from Thomas. He was it's kind of a long question, so I'm gonna try and summarize it here just for us. But we can always go back into his chat and respond to him there. But I guess he's asking, what's it like, breaking into the industry as like an international student, right? Like, what are you know thinking about like the types of relocation barriers and like the limited opportunities that there are maybe in their home country, like what approach do you recommend for someone wanting to follow like a similar career path to yours? You know do people typically relocate junior to mid-level artists? Like what did you guys come up with in your experience? Probably more of a Jonathan and Ted question, I guess, but
You want to take that one, Ted?
Um,
Maybe
sure.
we can
Sorry,
share
could
both,
you quickly, yeah,
and it can be cool because we have different journey for sure.
yeah. I guess could you quickly repeat the question? Sorry. It was just about basically how I broke into the industry as like an international student or an
Yeah.
international.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, what were some of the barriers
Um,
maybe you came across, or and do you know if they typically in a AAA studio even would consider relocating junior to mid-level artists?
okay, yeah, I see. I guess for me, it's kind of a unique journey where my like employment eligibility was not associated with the job. I wasn't under any, like student visa or work visa, so I I didn't have to worry too much about that like international relocation. But just for breaking into the industry, I've always kept that mindset of, like coming from Africa, especially Ethiopia, and like last time I checked, I'm still, I think, the only Ethiopian in the AAA industry, as far as I know. If anybody knows any other ones, I would love to meet them. But because of that, I've always had that mindset that in order to even like be able to compete with the competition, I have to be literally the best out of everyone in order to be even given like a fair shot. And I think that mindset is what's really like carried me through into like breaking into the industry. Just I had that level of just immense dedication, and that was also mainly due to the fact that I actually loved what I did. I loved every aspect of just lighting and being able to like build virtual worlds. So it didn't even feel like a job to me at all. So yeah, through that process of just grinding away at my portfolio, just making contacts, like I before I did my first AAA job, I did a lot of just indie work just to at least have a portfolio of sorts where I'd contact people that were developing like indie games, and I tried to just get on that team, where I'd work on the game on like a profit share business model where I wasn't really getting paid. It was more so like if the project's successful, then you could potentially receive money for your work. And I did that for a few years just to, develop my portfolio, but also just get some kind of experience in terms of just developing video games. And then when eventually that role came around for Ready at Dawn, I think I've just built a really good portfolio by that time to really clearly demonstrate my abilities and my skill set as a lighting artist. And I think purely it's just off that sheer dedication of just building that portfolio that ultimately brought me that initial like leg in order to enter the industry. And yeah, in terms of relocation and all that, I'd say like John, you're probably more equipped to answer. I guess like relocating from a studio abroad to like a studio in the United
Yeah.
States. But my journey's, yeah, probably much different. But yeah.
You know, it resonates a lot, like what you were saying about, feeling the pressure of being the absolute best in your field just because, you know, where you're gonna be far from your family and friends. Like if you're not crushing it, like why am I gonna do that? I cannot
Like, what's
fail.
the point? Yeah,
I
right.
have to be the best at what I do, and I will put the hours, and I will do anything to get there. So yeah, it really resonates with me. But to answer the question, um, aside from really working hard and really pushing your skills as far as you can and building a strong portfolio, um, to move abroad, usually you wanna, the easy way would be to be sponsored by a company. And then in that case, you need to, again, have a strong portfolio and have a company willing to put money on the table and have the attorney getting in and getting a visa for you, et cetera, et cetera. Depending on the country, the requirements are different. Uh, and again, I'm just take it with a grain of salt. I'm not an attorney or anything. It's just, based off of my personal experience. Um, so there's that path, or you have this other path where you go through a school that gives you a student visa. And when you come out of that school, you can work for 2 to 3 years, I believe. And then in that case, you can start and get your feet wet and work for a company. And then ultimately, you're hoping for the company sponsoring you. So you end up kind of like taking so you have like option A and B, and then kind of end up like going back to option A after going through option B. So that's kind of like what I've seen around me, and personally, what I experience is having companies just doing the paperwork for me. As long as you prove that you're an asset for them and that you're really good in your field, uh, they're just gonna do what it takes to bring you over. And you want to be in that spot. That's where you want to be. If they need you, they're gonna do what's necessary to bring you over. So
Mhm.
that's why my ambition back in the days was just like being the best possible artist. Um, and that's what brought me to Canada and to the US. So yeah, hopefully that answered the question.
Yeah, and leading off of that too, you know, what do you recommend, or like what is your opinion when it comes to taking roles that are maybe more tangential or less direct than the current roles that you're wanting to say? I know Ted kind of actually you briefly touched on this where you're saying, you know, go into those almost volunteer based projects just to gain momentum, some experience, maybe network a little bit more. Do you find that this is a pretty uh, you know, recommended way to go about that and kind of gaining that experience?
Yeah, I guess as long as it doesn't like detract from your main goals too much, where it's still like parallel to that, where doing these roles helps you kind of get that mindset or understanding of how to work within a team. Like it does build a lot of valuable, experience. Like working in the studio isn't just about being a great artist and knowing how to make, cool stuff happen on a screen. It's also just about how you work within a multidisciplinary team and how you like settle creative differences. So I think just that level, just any experience in that front, I think is pretty valuable just to build up at least like your general understanding of how to work in on a game with a group of people. So I'd say it's yeah, it helps a lot for sure.
Very cool.
Boy.
See, Jonathan, I have a question from Idris for you. Um,
Okay.
I made some of my materials inspired by your work. I have a question about the material mentorship. When building a material library, do we also use and apply those materials in an environment, or how does the process usually work?
Um, so yeah, usually you would basically, and if it's for a game, it's kind of different, obviously. But if it's for an environment, let's say you have a concept, uh, you like it, and then you're gonna break down what's on that concept and define how many materials are you gonna need to create, for example. And usually my process is basically to kind of like paint over the concept and be like, okay, this part is going to be a tileable texture. This part is going to be a trim. These elements can be baked out, et cetera, et cetera. Um, Again, based off of um, the environment and the project and the constraint that you have. If it's for literally a video game, you will do things slightly differently than if it's just for a personal project. Sometimes you can leverage a lot more details through the texture. Um, if it's a personal project, something that you wouldn't necessarily do in production because you want to be able to reuse this asset differently in, multiple scenarios. So, to answer your question, um, I would say I have multiple answers for you, but we could chat offline eventually. And if you have like a specific, um, example to give me, then I can provide more details. But yeah, for a scene, for an environment, that's how I usually process. I break down what's on the concept, define the amount of materials, and determine the amount of time I would need for each of them, basically. So that's kind of like, and most of the time in production, um, a material for me and my team shouldn't take more than half a day to 2 days. That's the a good amount of time. Uh, and don't worry if you spend a week on a material, you're learning, and that's okay. And the time you spend on it is just gonna like drop slowly but surely. But you know, that's about it. Yeah,
Awesome.
hopefully that helps.
Yeah, I know Ivanna's firing off in the chat a lot of really good answers to some questions, but maybe an overarching one I think kind of stands out, and it's more of a common question that even I get asked from Ziggy. What qualities have you all identified in mentees that lead them into actually breaking into the industry eventually? Like, what are some really standout qualities that this industry is looking for, even in, as things shift in 2026, like ways to stand out even?
It's, I guess for me, the main one would just be passion and just love for the work that you do outside of just, treating it as like, oh, a gateway to making games. You actually have to like, you don't have to, but it helps a ton actually loving the process and loving that artistic, like creative um path. Yeah, I guess pathway. It's kind of it just helps make the grind much easier when you actually love the process and on itself. So yeah.
Yeah, I posted in the chat, but for me is portfolio quality. So like you don't need to have like over 10 projects on your portfolio to like really shine. Like if you had like 2 or 3 that were like
Mm,
really good, really polished, like composition, quality of like assets and sculpts and materials, like it could be the corner of a room, like super small environment, but the quality is like really good, then that's sort of like what sticks out to us. So a lot of the mentees have been coming in with like pretty big scope projects because they think like, oh, like bigger the project, the better. But I really try and like uh, tell them like it could be like the smallest thing as long as the quality is higher is what really sticks out to us.
100%. I totally agree with that. I always have that answer, how many hard work do I need to break in the industry? It doesn't really matter as long as the quality is there. So two, three usually is what I said in the chat. In my opinion, is the sweet spot. As long as it looks great, what's important is the quality and consistency. And it doesn't really. I feel like it's also good to show. I would say different flavors and show a bit of the panel of uh type of environment. For if we talk about environment, like what sort of environment can you create, it's good to have like maybe a nighttime environment, more gloomy and dark, but it's good to have like a more bright one that is more like I would say happy, type of environment. You can have like different vibe and just show basically your skill through that. So show diversity in your work. But what's the most important is the consistency in the quality of what you're showing. So yeah, hopefully this help. But um, so always quality over quantity. Don't try to have like
exactly.
10 average stuff. Just have 2 or 3 that are like kick ass, and that's the way to go, in my opinion.
Well, I want to encourage everyone who's still kind of thirsty for answers, right? You can pop on over to like the live Q&A stage channel and just start popping in some more questions there for us so that we can still answer even after this call is over. But we are getting really close to time. And I did want to kind of ask you guys one more question, Jonathan, which will probably be our most fun kind of thing to answer today, too. Darson's asking, are you guys going to be at GDC this year?
Yes, that's the answer is
Yes.
yes. We're gonna be at GDC, and the great news is that we're gonna have a booth. And
Yes.
the second good news is that we're gonna have a whole team over there. So Penny will be there, Ivana
Woo.
will be there, Grayson Cottrell will be there, and Edgar Martinez will be there as well. So, and I'll be there, of course. But yeah, we're gonna be excited to see you all over there at GDC. We'll very soon share the schedule. with you guys. We'll be on the floor from Wednesday to Friday. We have a lot of stuff, a lot of news. Uh, we have some sponsorship going on, some raffle going on. We're gonna offer some free substance licenses, etc. So yeah, keep an eye on our social media. We'll be announcing a lot of exciting news very soon. So we hope to see you all at GDC. It's gonna be great.
I'll be spamming our community channels as well, y'all, so you guys can stay posted.
Let's go.
Let's
Yes.
go. We're really excited. I hope that most of you can make it. If not, I get it, right? It's quite a travel. It's quite a pretty penny to get there, but I think this might be the start of us, hopefully attending every year. Maybe at some point we can branch off to other events too. So, I don't know, just stay tuned. Tell us where you guys want to see us the most. Um, I'm just really excited. I hope I get to see a lot of you guys there. Really excited to meet our
Yeah,
mentors too.
and
They're wonderful people.
don't be a stranger. Just swing by the booth at any time. We'll be doing portfolio reviews, presentation. A lot of our mentees are gonna be there to share the project they worked on with us and share their experience. But anytime, just swing by, say hi, and we'll be there. We'll be happy to chat with you.
Oh, and yes, George, you are able to sign up for a mentorship no matter where you are. The only thing to consider is our
Yes.
time zones, right? I mean, we might have to finagle just a little bit, but I'm here to help coordinate that for you guys. So we can always try and
Yeah, this should work.
negotiate. Hmm.
We always, yeah, we'll always try to make it work for everyone internationally. So we're good to go.
Well,
Cool, guys. We're,
I wanted to
yeah,
say
we're at
thank
time,
you.
right? Yeah, thank you all. Thank you, Ivana. Thank you, Ted. Thank you, Penny. I hope you guys enjoyed this second live stream of the year. I had a great time. And yeah, we'll see you very soon in next live event. I'm not gonna spoil it or say anything yet, but it's coming soon and it's gonna be pretty great, I think. But yeah, see you all very soon. If you have any questions, feel free to drop that in the chat. We'll answer right after the live stream. And yeah, hope to see you very soon in our next event.
Awesome. Thank you guys. Have a good rest of your day.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
I see ya.
Yeah.